Welcome back to Central Valley Talk, where we celebrate what's good about Fresno. Not just Fresno, but the whole valley and the whole state and the whole nation for that matter. When something good is going on around here, we want to spotlight it. We want to let you know about it, and maybe you'll pay more attention to these good things. Now, our guest is George Starbuck. And by the way, George came here about a year ago, and you had a pretty good idea where you're going to talk about, you had a summit on...
Well, a Youth-Empowered Affordable Housing Summit is what we called it.
Right. When you say youth, it's college students.
Yeah, well, high school and college, because they're inheriting a problem that we're trying to deal with.
You know, I was in the city council and in the legislature, and when you get there, you think you know everything. And the reason I like what you're doing is you're going to the youth, you're getting a fresh perspective.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And also those youth, they're going to become the city council members and, you know, the leaders.
Right, right.
And so...
by the way, before we jump into this, you did it last year, about a year ago. You're going to do it again this year, and we're going to talk about that. Before we do, you have a video. Let's take a look at that.
Housing prices and the cost of living are increasing faster than household wages and personal incomes. About 75% of the population wants to buy a house, but only 25% can actually afford it. Something has to change.
This isn't just a local problem, it's a national one. That's where the Youth Empowered Affordable Housing Summit comes in.
Join us at St. Paul Catholic Newman Center in Fresno, California. On April 20th, we're inviting young adults, city officials, and community leaders to explore new ideas on how to tackle this economic problem.
My kids are going to have to win the lotto in order to afford a house. Things are getting so expensive, I worry about the next generation.
Our goal with the Summit is to engage young adults in developing their future affordable housing market. This is an open invitation for mayors, city planners, and other interested individuals to attend the Summit. Bring along a delegation of young adults to represent your community.
Home ownership is just one part of starting a family. It's part of the American dream.
I always pictured that perfect home with a big red door in front.
Can't afford anything nowadays. Prices are rising, especially homes.
Attend presentations, small group brainstorming sessions, and most importantly, network with others from across the nation who are working towards solving this crisis.
Join us April 20th at the Yale Summit at St. Paul Catholic Newman Center in Fresno, California. This is your call to be a part of the solution to a growing problem we must face together today for a better tomorrow.
Well, we don't have anything left to talk about, George. That said it all.
Oh, no, we have a whole lot to talk about. As you recall, I always kind of like to say, I like talking about the event, but I like coming back and tell you what has come from the event. And what came from last year's event is absolutely phenomenal.
You know, you say that, but I'm thankful you did, because we have so many people who come and they pitch their event, and we never hear from them again. And I said, when you were here, I said, George, I want to hear the outcome.
Well, it's not so much an outcome. It's something kind of in a process. Our youth are actually at the cusp of changing college rental housing across the nation. It's phenomenal what they came up with last year.
And they came up with it.
And they came up with it. In fact, it might be good to look at that definition, what they came up with. And here's how this came about. Last year at the summit, Congressman Jim Costa was our guest speaker. We had, at that time, it was Deputy Mayor Matt Grande. We had Andy Hausler. We had a whole slew of individuals, 2 days, working with our youth to help them discover the American nightmare they're facing. And I say that American nightmare because on the video, she says, you know, only 25% will ever be able to afford a home. And that means 3 out of every 4 of the college graduates won't even be able to with their degree.
Okay. Now, this is a challenge given to high school and college students attending last year. Youth Empowered Affordability Housing Summit. in 2 sentences without using numerical references, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the sentences they came up with.
Yes.
To us, housing availability is the chance to enhance our opportunities through home ownership while not living paycheck to paycheck. It is the ability to attain and obtain a house while not sacrificing survival necessities at any income level.
What do you think about that definition?
It's brilliant. Now, is this just while they're in college?
Well, no, this is a definition that they're beginning to put into place as to what affordable home ownership is for the next generation. And possibly maybe that definition might become a standard, adopted standard.
Well, it talks about being able to afford the housing without sacrificing other necessities.
Uh-huh.
And right now you have one or the other. You don't get to own a home and, eat well.
No, but no, you don't. And so that was one of the phenomenal things that came from that summit. The other is it's one thing to put together a definition. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we look at definitions as just kind of gripes. Mm-hmm. But they're looking at an idea to accomplish that definition. And that's what I'm here to talk to you today about. In the summit, we're looking at something that's called short-term home purchase developments for college students.
Right.
And though I put it in that term, it truly is something that could be used, be tweaked a little bit for military or veterans or low income or business development. But in this case, it's being used as for college students. And here's what the college student is facing. They're facing 6 obstacles in being able to afford that home. Mm-hmm. And those 6 obstacles can be divided up into 3 categories. Education, not having the education sufficient enough to get that job to be able to afford the home. And that may be training or trades as well. And then having no understanding of the process of home ownership, the responsibility in that. The second category is economics.
Yeah.
Student loan debt and having no savings.
Right.
Isn't that a problem? And how many stories do we hear about college students that they can't get into a home because of that student loan debt?
Right.
The third is societal, out of control inflation, and we're trying to push everybody into rentership,
Right.
Which devastates the community. So with those 6 obstacles, this idea of short-term home purchase development came about as a means to address that. Take a piece of property, say a couple acres that's located near a college, and build 100 to 200 homes on it. And the student buys into that community for a minimal amount, and then they pay $1,000 a month. From that $1,000, $500 goes to the land trust, the nonprofit land trust that holds on to that property, and some of it goes to the construction loan. But then $500 a month would become home equity savings for the student. And so if you look at Fresno State and say they're enrolled in a 4-year degree, they're responsible for that house for 4 years, paying the monthly payment on
maintenance and upkeep.
Upkeep, and they leave it as they received it.
This helps solve one of the 3 big problems that you mentioned. They learn to be a homeowner.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and they learn to be a homeowner in the process. Now, they have to sell that house to the next person waiting in line when they graduate. Do the math, though. 500 times 40, what is that? $24,000?
Now they've got a down payment.
They can pay off that student loan, down payment on a house, put money in the bank, start a business.
One of the hardest parts of buying a house is qualifying for a loan. But these students would qualify by being a student.
Yes.
They don't have to qualify for the loan. They'd have to qualify to, be sure they can pay $1,000 a month. And
yeah, well, that's a great question, because the students themselves will begin to put together what is the application process, who would qualify, and how would you qualify, and the rules of behavior there while you're living in the community.
Yeah.
And then they will also bring together the team that begins the development of it. We're looking at stuff that will last 100 years, that would become a energy efficient home, that will carry an R, 35, 40 value to it.
Well, the best part of your plan is that these students are going to live somewhere for their 4 or 5 years in college anyway.
Yeah.
So why not here, where they're building some equity and building a community, learning how to be a homeowner, learning how to be ready. By the way, I want to tell you a story. I sell houses. One of my clients, he's almost 50, and the reason he's having trouble qualifying is because his student loans are still there. So at the end of this period, they have some cash out.
Yeah, and they have some cash out. They have money in the bank. Also, this is a brand new idea. This has never been done across the nation. That's why I say they're on the cusp of revolutionizing the rental housing market near college campuses.
But you said this application might go for military or other types of things too. So.
Yes, yeah, it could be tweaked to those. I mean, the concept, it's a rather simple concept, and one that helps the first-time home buyer gets in. And it's kind of a mini step into.
Now, the nonprofit land trust is going to have the land. Where does the initial money come up for that?
That's one of the great things about working with the churches in there. Churches own property next to campuses. And some of the campuses, you look at, there's a vacant lot kind of catty-cornered across the street from Pacific College. Pacific College owns that. That's a nonprofit entity.
There you go.
And so the land, I don't think is the difficult issue.
It's not going to be the problem.
I don't think that's going to be the problem. And I think support for our youth behind this idea, I'm not sure will be a problem. However, with that said, it will cost some funds and it will cost some community engagement, involvement.
Now, before we run out of time, you did a big, wonderful thing last year, great accomplishment this summit. Let's talk about this year's. I think we have the flyer. Tell us when, where.
Well, it's going to be held at the St. Paul Catholic Newman Center, April 20th, and this is just going to be a one-day event. And the Newman Center is right there on Barstow. I don't have my glasses to read the address.
Around Cedar and Barstow.
Yeah,
around a little bit of the west of Cedar there on Barstow.
And it will go from 8 o'clock to around 3:30. The focus is on high school and college students. We welcome community leaders to come, but they're observers.
Right. Stay out of the way.
Well, we'll do a few things for you as well, and we'll ask the same questions of you as we're asking the students, which makes more sense, rentership or ownership, right. And also, look at what do you think of this idea?
Yeah, as a former councilman, that ownership is so important to the health of a neighborhood, and that's another bonus of your these ideas. Who should go? You're saying college and high school. Do you have to have a certain major?
No. I think the important thing here is that this is an issue that our youth are facing. It doesn't matter what major you're in, but the realization that you're facing this problem calls for you to get involved in it. So come be a part of listening to the two speakers and then the breakout sessions.
And so probably you're looking, who should be involved, who should attend is always my question. I guess your answer is those who care about their future, or those who want to shape the future.
Yes. Our mission statement, by the way, for Youth Voice Impact is to cultivate young adults to care for their community while developing responsible current and future generations. There needs to be that reminder that all generations are responsible and accountable to the ones that are following them. And so even in a high school age, to begin understanding the process that, hey, it's not just my life I should be concerned about, it's those that follow me, that I want to be a part of making things better for them as well.
Yeah, very good. George, by the way, this event is on April 20th, 2024, St. Paul Catholic Newman Center, right there by Fresno State, there in Barstow, kind of behind the college. And what times, or who should sign up? Can they sign up in advance?
Yes, please do sign up in advance through Eventbrite. Go to our website. I believe it's right there, yviinc.org. The registration is right on the page. Sign up, and if you feel that hey, this is an event that I should become a sponsor and back, there's an opportunity there for you to as well.
Hopefully some people out there in the community who really care about our community would say, I want to get behind that and help sponsor it. So last thoughts, George?
Last thoughts, stand behind. Thank you for allowing our youth to utilize their brilliant minds, which truly they are, to bring forth some of these ideas that we have not thought about. And so, thank you.
All right. The Yay Summit, number 2, it's the second year. All the information will be below the screen there, and please attend, please support. We'll be back with more Central Valley Talk right after this.